that David let me know about 10 days ago that he just wasn't able, with all that's going on in the family right now, to be involved tonight to do the presentation on vases. And the thing about the Cambridge vases, I'm quite sure they made vases from the first year of production in 1902 to the very last day of production in the 1950s. So that's why it's a broad topic area, and really crosses all the lines made by the Cambridge Glass Company. So this is an opportunity for us to talk about some of the treatments and that type of thing, and some of the unusual things that we can see on vases, in addition to those that they made in the various colors and were good sellers. So in the early years, of course, it was overwhelmingly, the very earliest years, it was overwhelmingly crystal and pressed glass. Probably not the clearest glass, quality glass that Cambridge made in later years. And I don't know if they're hot collectors, it would be really nice if we could see some of those tonight. The earliest production piece that I have dates to 1916, and that's when they introduced the ebony line. And it's early ebony. Ebony went in and out of production over the years, and there's really no way to tell between the different ebonies. So the formula was not exactly the same for all the areas, but it had the same effect, a very beautiful, glossy white, or excuse me, black glass. So these are the enamel flowers that were put on. It wasn't a lengthy production period. They were introduced in 1916. And a way to tell those by Cambridge versus another floral decoration that was put on Cambridge blanks by Lotus is Lotus put a gold band around the edges. So if it's got the white enamel band, it's fairly confident it was made by Cambridge, or the decoration was done by Cambridge. If it's got gold on the edge, it was probably produced by Lotus. So that's 1916. The next earliest piece, and it's a piece that I really enjoy in my collection, and it's the Pearl line from 1918. Now, this border etch is numbered. It's in the etching book. So we know it's a Cambridge. And of course, this blank is a very well-known paste mold vase from the teens and 20s, and was used in many of the different lines. But this was really a tedious process because it's satin finished on the inside. It's iridized on the outside. You can see it's got gold bands in addition to the etching, and an enamel applied as well. So this is called pearl glass, which was apparently really hot in that 1918, 1920, that period of time. It was a very brief production period. And some of the Cambridge pieces also have a floral etching with the enamel applied in it. And actually that etching plate wasn't owned by Cambridge. So that is another interesting fact. Now, the last thing on this topic is another company made a lot of really high quality pearl glass, and that company was Sinclair. And a lot of those pieces were declared to be, they got the Cambridge blessing, I guess is the way to say it. In fact, there's way more Sinclair of their pearl glass than there is Cambridge. Now, that said, Sinclair is very high quality glass, probably a notch above Cambridge at the time it was made as far as quality and craftsmanship. So it's not like it's worthless glass. It's beautiful, beautiful glass. And some of the pieces are stamped on the bottom, which really helps the identification. So I wrote an article about that, which was being called Pomona by Cambridge, which just was not accurate. And Frank Wallenhop and Judy Bennett helped me a lot with that article. Now, this blank is a Cambridge blank. I think you're all familiar with this blank. In fact, another one from the same era, you see it's identical blank, finished a little different on top, but it's the same paste mold. And this has got the white gold, we think white gold, dancing lady on it. So about the same time period there in the late teens, more than likely, perhaps early 20s. And it's a very common mold shape. Now, and those Sinclair pieces are not. Now, another production line that was made there in the early 20s, it was one of the last near-cut patterns, is Chelsea. And this vase is actually an azurite, which is not at all common. There is some azurite Chelsea, but not a lot of it out there. So I have a pair of these vases and I really treasure them. They're very, very beautiful. Chelsea's almost always crystal, and it's pretty in crystal as well. And I think Lisa Strebler showed us a Chelsea basket in her awesome presentation, and that's beautiful as well. So Chelsea is a very unique decoration, not a lot of it that's done in color. This is the same type of paste mold again. This is smaller size. It's a 6-inch. This was another decoration. A lot of you probably have this in your collections. It's a matte finish on this band with the white enamel flowers and then iridized, caramel and iridized on top of that on the bottom. So quite a complex production operation again for a lot of these pieces. We probably will see some more cylinder vases. Many people like them. This one has got the classic gold encrusted on ivory. All of these pieces are from the teens and 20s. This is a vase that, ironically, this block optic vase, although Rubina was made for a very short period of time, I think it's most often seen in Rubina. Maybe Jack could comment on that. It's gorgeous in Rubina if it's got good blue in the middle, and it seems like this piece often does have it. But you can also find it in the transparent colors, and they made some in ivory. So I don't know if you can see the block optic there if I hold it a little bit closer. Then a piece that I'm just tickled to add to my collection. This piece, again, dates to the late 20s, early 30s, so we're moving along in time. So this shape, it's square from the top, and you can see the dragon etching. It's a little hard to see because it's not gold encrusted. It's the first time I've seen the dragon etching on this shape vase. And when I got it at auction and when I first purchased, I said, oh, well, there's no etching around the top here, so it must be a cocktail shaker missing its top, because this blank that's got the floral decorations on it, there's also an etching around the top. However, I discovered it's just too thick here on top to accommodate that cocktail shaker top. So it was actually made, obviously, to be a vase, some kind of a unique piece with the dragon decoration on it. Well, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of pieces this evening that were made in the 1930s, because the 1930s were really a spectacular period for the Cambridge Glass Company, despite what was going on in the world, particularly in Europe, leading up to World War II. So they introduced all kinds of unusual treatments and some spectacular colors. And we talked about that during the series on the colors introduced by Henry Helmers. So Japonica, the truth of the matter is almost all of the Japonica pieces are vases. There's exceptions, there's candlesticks, there's console bowls, but most of the pieces are vases. Now, isn't it funny that these pieces that we treasure with these incredible decorations, we just pray that they did not use them because they have staining in them if they do. And I don't know that artificial flowers were all that common. We thought for a long time Japonica was introduced in 1937. Well, we now know it was earlier in the 30s, probably about 1934, 33, 34, that Japonica came out and was introduced. And then the name changed to Hawthorne because Japonica Japan wasn't very popular in the world at the time they introduced it. So again, it's really funny that a lot of these vases, we just pray that they didn't use them. And then if you see water staining, what were they thinking using it? Well, of course, that's why they bought it. The Everglades line, I love opaque Everglades. This treatment is unique because it's got the satin background, so the flowers really pop out. So, and they made this, had this treatment on all of the vases in the Everglade line. And of course, typically they would be transparent colors or crystal with the same treatment with the flowers popping because they were not satinized. There's a small number of the Everglade pieces, the vases made in Crown Tuscan. They're very, very hard to find. And if you collect opaque Everglades, you want them, but there's just very few of them that were made. Then another treatment that came along, I'll skip ahead a little bit to Crown Tuscan, is the enamel that was placed on. And of course, this is very clearly dated in the catalog. So it was a very short production period, 1933, 1934, that Cambridge Re went crazy on enamel. That's when we had the varsity sportswear, many of the dog decorations, as well as this black enamel that's placed on Crown Tuscan, which is quite attractive. Now, the enamel can be in black, in red, or in green. The green doesn't pop nearly as much as the red and the black do against the Crown Tuscan background. Getting near the end, Julie.
No worries. No worries.
Now, this is the one I think that when people think spectacular Cambridge vases, is this vase. And people that collect them, some people really just collect this shape as far as vases, is the 1242. I'm not big into the numbers, but it's also part of the 3400 line because it's got the darts, the 4 darts around the bottom. So this vase happens to be amethyst with the gold encrusted Gloria, and it just does pop. And now I realize that most people treasure the Carmen or the Royal Blue more than the amethyst, but it's pretty on amethyst as well. Then I've got 2 more pieces that are from the reopen period. So again, the length of production of vases by Cambridge. This is what we usually refer to as the bowling pin vase among collectors. And I really like this piece because it's moonlight. They tended, for marketing, they said moonlight blue during the reopen period, and it's crackle. I don't know if I think it's showing up here, the crackle. And I just love moonlight blue crackle. And we were talking earlier, Gwenelle mentioned the price list as far as what should be out there based on the price lists. Well, the price list from the 1950s had the nude stems with moonlight blue crackle tops. And I'm not aware of anyone that has ever seen one. I don't think one has ever surfaced. They would have at least done a few trial ones, I expect, but if they've survived, I don't know. And then the last piece that I've got to share tonight is another Everglades piece, and this is Violet, which is a reopen period. Probably this is Everglades, also from the leaf line, and quite unusual in Everglade. Everglades really hard to find. It was a very short production period. And actually, this is the only one I think of these that surface. It's moved around different collections over the years, and temporarily it's housed in my collection, and it'll probably make its rounds to a few more collections before it meets its demise. Hopefully nobody ever breaks it. So Julie, that's what I've got to get things rolling. I can't wait to see what everybody's got to share.
Well, thank you, Les. And as always, very spectacular things. I'm sure if you need to downsize, I'm sure you're going to find a lot of people that'd be willing and very helpful to take some of those pieces off of your hands.
Well, I did quick count of the vases on display in my house, and I came up to 95, but I might have missed a few. So it's just, almost all the lines, there's vases. It was one of the most common things Cambridge made and sold in the department stores and the jewelry stores around the country.
Yes, they did. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And as always, some beautiful, beautiful pieces there. I'm quite envious of many, many things. So I can't even start which one I would like. But anyway, we'll move on and we will start today. Why don't we start with Gwenelle? And then we will put Barb on deck.
All right. I had to get rid of a cat. We're taking up a lot. All right, I've just got a little vase, a primrose with the gold trim. And helio in the cylinder. And it has no trim on it. Amethyst in the sweet potato vase. Big cat. Crystal shell, their flower center. And caprice line. Let's see, this is what they call the ivy ball. And this one's done in alpine. Caprice alpine in the La Rosa, rose bow. And then an odd rose bow with a very small center, scrunched in neck. I don't see a catalog listing for that one. And then in the blown line, there's the 3.5 inch. Another 3.5 inch. I believe that's the 4 inch. Four and a half inch with the real high neck on it. The bubble ball. And the 6 inch, which is also the bitters line. Are used for both the items. And then let's ask for others. So I found a Fenton pitch, a vase that was made into a pitcher, and it is cased inside. It's very heavy. Same vase was used for basket with Fenton again. And another vase, they put a bow on it and crimped the top a lot different, and as well as put the opalescence on it. They did several others, but those are the only ones I grabbed real quick. So that's it for tonight.
Okay, well, thank you. And those little small caprice vases are adorable. I know that there was a couple that I saw at the gift shop in Cambridge when I was there, but I've never seen the 6 inch or the other one, and those are spectacular. So thank you so much for sharing. And as always, I really like the comparison side by side. So it's always nice to see those colors as well. So I'm glad you were able to dig a few out for us so that we could enjoy them. But thank you again, Gwinnell, very, very much. So with that, we are going to move on to Barb, and then we will put Phil Eggers on deck. So Barb, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Are you talking Barbara?
Yes, Barbara.
Okay,
Sorry.
Okay, sorry. I have 3 that I know. I mean, I have a number of them, but 3 that I know are definitely Cambridge. I have a keyhole in a royal blue or cobalt blue. I have a very large rose point, very large. And then I have in cobalt blue, the top hat that turns over. Everybody loves this one when they come in my house. And then I have 3 that I don't know what they are. Oh, don't break anything. I have one, I have not been able to identify it. This one. I can't, it's not a Cambridge because it's not in any of the pattern books I have. It's like a fan. And then I have another one that I think might,
I think that's Duncan Miller.
thank you very much. I will research that. And then I have this one, which is really an interesting shape. It's, if anybody has seen.
Hayden City, I think, Hayden City,
Okay, thank
New
you.
Martinsville.
New
Sorry, that's
Martinsville.
Radiance.
Sorry.
New Martinsville, thank you. Okay, so, okay. And then I have one more that I don't know. When I first bought it, I thought it was Rose Point, but it's not.
I think it's Fostoria.
Fostoria Navarre.
Okay, okay, so I have New Martinsville, Fostoria, and the first one was what? Sorry.
Duncan Miller, I think it's First Love.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to write these all down and I'm going to research them. Thank you all for
Excellent.
helping me.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for sharing. It's always good. And you never know when you get something identified here. So it's always good to bring those others that you're not quite sure about, because this is the place to come to get the
Absolutely.
information. Absolutely. So
Thank you so much.
thank you so much, Barbara, for sharing. And I love the top hats too. I think they're so unique, and I have the small ones. I don't have a large one, but I just really love yours. It's beautiful in that in that really vibrant color of blue.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you so much. So next we're gonna have Phil. And if I have one egger, I gotta put the other one on deck. So Jeff's gonna follow.
There you go. That works.
Yes,
All right, you got me.
I gotcha.
Well, the first one I'm going to start out with is I like my Crown Tuscan. It's got to be the first bud base. I don't know if you guys can see it. Is that pretty good?
Yes.
All right, and of course with the Charlton on it. My next ones, I've got the 8-inch and the 10-inch, of course, with the Porsche etching. Gotta have that. And then I don't know what they call these. I've heard them called trumpet vases. Is that what those are? I don't know. With the Porsche once again. Then two of my pride and joys. I've got the 11-inch and the 13-inch of this here. I might have to back up a little bit. Pride and joys. And on the 13-inch note there, here's another one I'm particularly fond of, is in the green with the clear base. Now, I've got a question on this. I've got the green here, but then I've got a face here. Now, what's the difference in the colors? I don't understand how they go with the greens. One's darker than the other, but aren't they both emerald?
They're
Yeah.
both forest green. The urn is a much thicker piece of glass, and that's
Very
why
much.
it appears darker. But also the from batch to batch, the colors wouldn't be identical.
Okay.
But I think the thickness of the glass would be the biggest.
I just never understood. There's so many greens out there, I don't know what's what.
Yeah.
And then of course I've got a pair of the cornucopia 10-inch.
And they're late dark emerald. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know years on these or anything. So, and then my last one I'll show you here is my Caprice. Now, I got a question on that too. How do they measure these? You got the 4-inch, the 6-inch, the 8-inch. How do they measure them? Because the hole here is big. It's like 4.5 inches or over. So how do they measure the size of it?
I think it's the height of them, how tall they are.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've seen several different ones, so, but that's what I've got right now. So I guess my brother's up next.
Yes, he is, but thank you for sharing yours. And are you primarily Caprice and Emerald Green, or is you like all the different colors?
I like everything. I really gotten into the Crown Tuscan. I started out collecting the blue Caprice,
Mhm.
but then, it's whatever strikes me. So,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and I'm was glad to see that you had some golden crested on the Crown Tuscan. It always looks
yes.
lovely, and I'm with you. I love Crown. I just like it all. Really, when it gets
Yep.
down to it, it is what we all love. So, thank you so much for sharing, and we hope you'll be joining us more on Zoom in the future.
Alrighty.
Next, we'll have Jeff, and then we are going to put Gary on deck.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Good. Let me see if I can figure out how to turn this camera around here. It just will be way much easier. Nah, I'm not sure if I know how. Here. There we
There you
go. Okay. We're going to start it off. I got it all laid out, so it's just a little bit easier than piece by piece. So this is some of what I have. Got the large royal blue one here, the shorter one. Everything in crystal is etched Elaine. We got an amethyst and the nude stem with the carmine. Some nice green ones. Then we get into the ebony with the gold trim. Couple of Crown Tuscans. Some optic ones there. Then we get down here to this one. Now, is this willow blue? I'm not sure. It's a blue of some sort. And then this one here. Thank you, Jack. And we got a little bit taller Elaine vase. And these other two here, the first one's optic, the second one isn't. Then my Elaine Bud vase. Then I got this cute little blue one here. Not sure if that's a Cambridge one or a knockoff, but that's what I have.
I think that's Cambridge.
Is it?
I think so. They did several of the vases in a variety of colors.
Okay.
I've got
That's
that.
cool. It's only about 4 inches or so.
Yeah, it's the small
So-
one.
And then, of course, I got the globe vase etched in Elaine. Since I'm an Elaine collector, most of my stuff is Elaine, but I've branched out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've got. Thank
Well,
you for letting me share that.
Jeff, the light blue vase is probably Moonlight.
Moonlight.
Because it's got the
Okay.
later top. The earlier versions have a rectangular top. This has got that rounder spread top. And
Okay.
it's hard to tell. And the formulas for willow blue and Moonlight were essentially identical. So most collectors feel there is some difference, and the Moonlight has a deeper color. But just based on that flared top, I would bet that's Moonlight.
Okay.
If it probably doesn't matter. It's a light
Yeah.
blue.
It's the only Everglade piece I got.
It's
It's
beautiful.
cool.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Very nice.
Okay.
I like that you had the vases that were the optic, the amber optic next to the
Yeah.
that was really nice. It's when you show them side by side, you can really see that optic pop. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And the optic is actually a little twisted. I don't know if you can tell in the pictures, so I don't know if it's just the way they did it or it was supposed to be kind of a gyro optic type thing or what, but it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's not it's not exactly, I gotta find my camera, straight up and down, perfect, you know, but
Right. It kind of reminds me of like the ball jugs. They don't look,
right, right,
yeah.
yeah. Okay,
All
well,
right.
thanks.
Well, yeah,
I
well, thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I enjoyed seeing that small vase that was a lane. I've never seen that one that you said Jack found for you. So that's a very
Yeah.
interesting little vase.
Yeah, this one here,
Yes.
that's 6 inch. Oh yeah, this is awesome. It's very heavy. Very heavy. I very much appreciate that, Jack. Elaine again.
That's the
So-
pristine with the star bottom, and they made a
Right.
number of those. You find those in the 1940 catalog, but yeah, difficult to find in Elaine for sure.
Yeah. Well, I like it. I like everything I got. What can I say?
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you for sharing so much. That was really wonderful. And you even had flowers in there. I give you bonus points.
yes. I tried to
Yeah.
get some color in there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we have Gary, and then we'll have Christine on deck.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Gary.
I bet you never seen this one like this. My cookie jar. No, it's a pristine 579, 6-inch base with a star bottom. And it's a rose point. But I like putting the lid on it. It fits perfect. They should have sold it that way. I've got a 629, which is kind of an unusual base. Hard one to find. It's in Rose Point. I also have a, scared me, trash basket. No, it's a 12-inch flip vase. I don't know if you can see it, if I can back it up here or not. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
It's a big, huge thing. It looks like a waste basket, a small waste basket. This one is the normal one that you see with this type of etching. But for some reason, the guy that sold me that one went out in the estate sale and found another one 2 weeks later. And it has the etching plate that they use on that 13-inch footed vase, the big regular one. If you can see the difference in the ring of the etching up here versus the other one didn't have that ring, and it had a different etching plate.
The bottom isn't etched on this other one.
Huh?
The bottom isn't etched on that one either.
Yeah, right. Then I've got so many vases here that I can't show them all to you, but this is one of my favorites. Let me go see it. It's the 18.5-inch vase. It's which one is there? It's the 1336. I don't know if you can see it.
Put that little bitty one out?
Which one? Oops, I don't think so. And then the last one I'll show you, I've got some ebony ones and stuff in that, but this is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Carmen.
Show this
6.5-inch globe base. Oh yeah, I've got that one there. It's a weird base.
one.
I didn't think about this. I don't have the number
We
on it
didn't
right
know it
now,
was a vase.
but I didn't even know it was a base. That's listed as a base. So anyway, well, I thank you for the view.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I agree. They should put a lid on that. That looks awesome with a lid.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank
Gary, could we see that ebony one again? That's just spectacular.
Yes.
you. Ebony one or the crown or the Carmen?
It's Carmen.
Oh, you
It was
said ebony.
Carmen.
Okay.
I've got
Show it-
I've got ebony ones downstairs. But
Okay, but let's see that Carmen one again.
All right, Jill, bring me the Carmen one again. Yeah, my wife's gonna bring it back in here. I'm afraid of dropping these things. Anyway,
Beautiful.
I could go down and get some ebony ones if you want to see them, but if you got time later on, I can come back. But
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I also have a cornucopia with the round foot on it. I like those. I have 3 of them in the room. They're all a little bit different sizes. There's
Mhm.
just a hair difference in the heights. I don't know if they were all freehand or what the deal was, but they're all a little bit different on the height. And then one of them has a little bit different etching plate on it. But if you want to see the ebony later or tonight, I can go down and get them, but it takes a while to get them.
Well, we may see some other ones come up, so we'll let you just sit back and relax for
That's
now.
all right. Thank you for
But-
all your help.
Yes, well, thank you. And I thought it was particularly interesting that you showed the 2 different etching plates. That was really interesting to me.
There's quite a few different items that have different etching plates that have been used on the same pieces. And some of them are you see them one time and I get them and don't ever see them again. It's like 3,900, the typical 3,900 candy box that you see with the lid. I happened to get one off of Esty here about a month ago that instead of the paneled foot on it, it just has a round foot. It's weird, but they do list it. In Miami site, the first picture on that number came up, it had the footed one.
Oh,
Yeah. It's fun finding all these variations and stuff. Some of the etchings of the same pieces may have the medallion with two flowers in the medallion, and then you'll run across one that's got a medallion that's got 3 flowers in it in some of the bigger pieces. And they're all the same piece, but they used a different etching plates.
well, I'm going to have to look for that because I never noticed that, but I'm not a rose point collector, so
That's all I collect. So
I know you do.
I don't get
so-
all of the colors that you guys get. But
Yeah.
I do have some ebony and I've got some amber and I've got some crown tusk and golden crested. And I wasn't going to collect colored pieces at one time. And then after a while, I couldn't resist.
It's kind of like the rest of us. We can't resist.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it and for the additional information. So next we'll move on to Christine and then we'll put Mark Voss on deck.
Mark, if you'd like to change your name, I can show you how to do that. We did a Zoom meeting on Friday and they taught us how to change our names. So if you go to your picture and you just kind of hover over it, there's 3 dots. You click on that and it says rename. Click on that and you can type whatever you want. So just thought I'd let you know. But all right, so yeah, we'd be here all night if I showed all my vases. So I tried to pick and choose, and it was really hard. So we'll go with what I did pull. I really love the I call them sweet pea vases. If you look, this has kind of got that crimped top to it. I have another one that I'm going to show you that doesn't have the crimped top. Actually have this this has, of course, see if you can see the Rosalie etch on it, and it is Aero Optic. I also have the Aero Optic of this one without any etch, so 2 of my favorites. And then this one here, of course, in the light green, it doesn't have the crimped edge at all. This does have, so you can see the wildflower etch on it. One of my newer pieces that I've just gotten recently. And I have a lot of these in the opaques and I have different heights. I've got 3 different heights to them. So of the sweet pea vases, quite a few. I have this is, I have quite a few Rubina vases. This is just an unusual shape. I like it partially because it had a lot of blue to it. So it does have the block optic, just the bottom part of it. And then it just has the lines and it had, like I said, quite a bit of blue to it. just really pretty. I like this one a lot. This is one of my newer ones. It's not in, it is a little bit damaged, but, and I'll show it up close, but of course in the moonlight blue, but it does have the, let me put it up close so you can see it has the wedding ring cutting on it. So it does have a little damage, but it was just so pretty. I bought it anyways. I have several of the enamels. This is the one I think is the prettiest because the red just really shows up so well on the Crown Tuscan. And this is a really dark one. So usually Crown Tuscan is a little bit lighter pink, but this is a really dark pink on that one. And then this is of course, this one is an azurite. I have quite a few of these vases in multiple colors. I actually have 3 of these, 2 with different gold bands to them, and then one that's plain that doesn't have a gold band. And then I actually have a 4th one because I have one that doesn't have a crimp top. So just really pretty, just a neat little vase that I like. I also like this one here. So this is this has, I looked this one up too. I had the number on this one. So this is a 797 vase. It does have, it's gold encrusted. So I'll put it really close. It does have, can you see it okay? The
Yes.
hunt scene on it. So, but other than that, it's like the pink frosted. So, and it's shiny on the outside and not on the inside. I thought that was kind of interesting too. It's just a really pretty, I think, really pretty vase. I don't think my camera is really doing this vase justice very well at all, but all right. I also, I forgot I had this. I actually have this in 2 different sizes. The Rabina Sweet Pea. Again, lots of blue to this one. The other one I have has a lot less blue, maybe just on the bottom. And it's only maybe this high. It's not quite the height that this one has, but just really pretty, I think. And then I have, this is a neat one that I like. This is the Martha Washington fan vase. And we also have it, my daughter has it in the milk glass as well. And just a really pretty pink. The color is kind of a delicate pink instead of your darker pink that you a lot of times see. And this is, and please tell me, I don't know if you guys can see it. I think can you see that's iridized? So it's really pretty. And it's actually iridized on the inside and on the outside. I have one that's only iridized on the outside. So just a really pretty vase, kind of an unusual shape. And then another one, I have a lot of these. So I just grabbed a couple of them. So these are 2 different, I actually have 3 different heights to these. Can you see them okay? The bud vases. Yeah. So an ivory and a jade. Of course, some of them have the gold band, some of them don't. These happen to have it. I like it either way. I also have this other vase in 3 different heights as well. I also have it in ivory and primrose. And then of course I have the azurite. This is the really tall one, super tall. So, all right. I think that's everything. Thanks.
Well, thank you. I really like that pink, that optic with the gold and satinized. That's really, really cool.
Which one?
The hunt scene.
Oh, the hunt scene. This one here. I do too.
Mm-hmm.
This was really neat when I saw it. I just had to get it. And so they just, is the satinized on the inside or yes or no?
Yes, it's satinized on the inside.
Okay.
And the effect is incredible with that gyro optic.
It is. It's just
and officially, Mark and I pointed this out, that Cambridge called that etching Imperial Hunt.
Yeah. Okay.
And collectors, we started calling it Hunt Scene, but officially it's Imperial Hunt by the Cambridge company. But it's one of the most beautiful pieces of Imperial Hunt that they made.
I think so too. You can really see the detail
on the picture of it, where I do have it on a glass, and you just you don't get as much of the scene, of course. So it's just such a great size to have it. So I liked it. I thought it was really pretty. Thank you.
Well, beautiful. And I know that you like your vases and your
Yes.
your sweet pea vases. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing those with us. Appreciate it very much, Christine. Okay, next we have Mark Voth, and then we will put Joanne on deck, please.
Hello, everybody. My collection, like everybody, we start off with one thing and you wander to other things. So I sort of started off with ice buckets, and then vases started to creep in and pretty much take control, sort of my collection. But I have lots of other stuff. But anyway, I narrowed it down to about 350 of my favorites. So anyway, get a pillow and get ready. Now I'm gonna try to do it a little chronologically, I think, from the earliest to the latest. The first one I have is, I don't have much Mount Vernon in my collection, and I don't have a lot of heather bloom, but I thought this was a very beautiful vase in heather bloom Mount Vernon. It's about 8 inches tall, I would guess. Very pretty in heather bloom. And we've seen a few of these already tonight. The keyhole vase in this is in gold crystal Lorna, and this is the 10-inch version. And of course, this shape of keyhole vase came in 2 sizes: 12-inch and the 9.5-inch. And I think it's pictured in the catalog. And this has an optic to it, which is also makes it, nicer. But I think they made I guess a lot of these during the Lorna, Apple Blossom, Gloria years. I found that there's been a number of things that you'll find if certain vases and certain things, if they were etched Apple Blossom, they were probably etched Lorna and Gloria also. But that's one of my favorites. And this vase is, I believe some version of it appeared in the 2729 catalog, and I think it was pictured Aero Optic. This is pictured in the 3034 catalog, and it's a number 1037 10-inch vase. And this has got what collectors call the hydrangea etching on it. I just saw this at the Delmarva show, and I really thought it was beautiful. And Mr. Ray added to my collection. He sold me a ebony one. So I've seen them in pink, and I've seen them in ebony, and I think I've maybe seen one in amber. And I think I've only seen like maybe one other etching on it. I don't think it came in a lot of etchings, and I think it wasn't made for a long time. But the best thing about it, I think, is it's got this really neat wide flange at the top, just really a really wide rim with another different wonderful etching along the rim. But I'd be interested to know if anybody else has seen it in any other colors between pink and black and maybe amber, and with any other etching besides. The other etching I saw was one of the numbered etchings, and I don't remember if it has a name or not. This is one of my favorites in the collection, just because it's so oddball. It's a 3400 11-inch 133 vase, and it's got this off-center opening on it, and this is in Diane. There was one in
Mark, if you could hold that back just a little bit, we could see the whole thing. That's the neat.
it's kind of neat. The 3400, I call it the swoosh, but it goes way up to almost to the top. I've seen it in the catalog. A lot of things that are done in Diane were done in Porsche. So I have seen this. I think there was one in the Cambridge auction a few years ago, the smaller version in Porsche. I've never seen it in another etching, but I've seen it plain in forest green and maybe amber. This came in 3 sizes, oddly enough. I mean, this was in the 3034 catalog, and it was gone by 1940, but they made it in 3 sizes. They made it in a 9-inch, an 11-inch, and a 13-inch. So I really would be interested if anybody's ever seen this and any other etchings besides Diane or Porsche.
I didn't have an etched one, but I actually had a cobalt blue one, and that was a rather large one. So,
And collectors refer to them as tilt vases.
Next one, Gary showed the, whoops. I got a page out of the 1940 catalog, and it's a very, my copy of the 1940 catalog is pretty dark, pretty hard to look at. But if you look really, really hard, you can see 2 vases, 2 pristine vases at the top. And the one Gary had was a 629 7.5-inch vase in rose point. And I know that a couple of those in rose point, but I've never seen this one. This one is the 9.5-inch. I'm sorry, just 9-inch vase in pristine in wildflower. So I'd be curious to know if anybody has seen this size. And I think I checked with you, Jack, about Elaine, if you'd seen it in Elaine, but I don't know if this is they made another one, and I assume they did in some other etching, or another one in wildflower. But I thought this was kind of interesting because, well, pristine is very clean, very, very beautiful shaped vase, and wildflower is a beautiful etching. When they introduced tally-ho in the 30s, they introduced a vase at that time that was gone by 1940. The tally-ho line continued, but this vase was not in the 1940 catalog in tally-ho. When we had the Zoom call about the enamels, a few people, including myself, had a couple of examples of this enamel that may or may not have been done by Cambridge. It's got a sort of royal blue, a couple of royal blue lines, and I assume a platinum band at the bottom and at the top. And I think it's just a really cool vase. I know this vase is in a number of colors, including royal blue, but I've never seen another one with that enamel decoration on it. And finally, pinball vases, as we call them, some collectors call them, or one of my favorites in my collection. So it came out, I guess, in the mid-30s somewhere, because it found itself with Rose Point and Wildflower, and I guess Elaine, and this one's Blossom Time. And this vase is quite thin. It's something that you have to be really careful with, because if you knock this over, it might definitely get chipped. But I think it's a really cool vase. But that vase then disappeared out of the 1949 and 53 catalogs. It just wasn't there. But then it reappeared in the reopen period, and when it did, it's thicker. much thicker construction base. And this is one of my favorites. This is a late pink with the moon etching on it. 10-inch. And I'm guessing, who knows, but Christine showed hers, so I'll show mine. It was the wedding rings in the moonlight blue reopen period. But I guess maybe making the vase thicker allowed it to be used for cuttings, whereas maybe it wasn't, you know, useful before for cuttings. But I just added one of these in crystal. I'd never seen this vase in any etching or cutting in crystal before. But I guess they just made a lot of them in colors, which is great. But I added one at I think it had the starlight cutting on it. And then the last one I wanted to share was just this little number, also from the reopen period. They made this vase also in 3 sizes. This is a 6-inch. I got this at the Cambridge auction a number of years ago. 6-inch, it's the number 1517. And they made it in 8-inch, according to the listing, and 10 inches. The 10-inch one is you can find in smoke with the moon etching on it. They made, I guess, more of those than anything else, perhaps, in this line. But I thought this was a cute one here. And the question I had in the 1958 catalog, well, it's not really a catalog, it's a price listing. There's a listing for a 1528 8-inch vase in Carmen. I assume that's maybe a typo, that they meant to say 1528 10-inch vase instead of 1518. But it's not. It was 1958, and I assume that the proofreader for Cambridge was not in the building at the time, maybe when they hit the button to print it. But that would be really cool to find a vase like that, a little bit taller in Carmen. But there was in the 1958 price list, and I thought that's interesting. So that's all I have.
Well, thank you so much. And I thought, you know, it is interesting as you go through, it almost looks like that last vase almost has like almost what I would call a shammed bottom, really.
Yeah.
Thick. And so, yeah, you can really see the difference there in that piece. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing those. It's so nice that you could go through it chronologically, better than I could, obviously. So thank you for sharing those so much, and beautiful pieces, absolutely beautiful. I do like that heavy band. It almost reminds me of that etching at the top, reminds me of called Bordeaux, I believe, but it looks very familiar. So thank you so much for that. Okay, next we're going to move on to Joanne, and then we'll put Sue Cameron on deck.
Okay, I'm going to show you a couple that are, we already saw. This is the keyhole and the cobalt. And then we have the Mount Vernon. This is in the crystal. I don't know if you can see it very well. And then now we'll get into stuff you haven't seen yet. This is the Crown Tuscan with the shell feet, cornucopia. I don't know if you can see the shell feet. Can you see them?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like so. And so that's nice. And then we have Carmen urn. I don't know if the color shows very well, but it's Carmen. It has a nice fluted bottom. And then the last one we got out, because we didn't get a whole bunch out, is it's not showing up really well, but it's yellow. It's the like gold crystal in the cornucopia vase. I don't know if I can get a good color on it, but this one's very intensely colored. That's why it's sad that you can't see it very well. Anyway, that's it for us.
Oh, beautiful. I like the cornucopia with the fluting. It looks really beautiful. And of course, we can't get enough of seam vases, no matter what. So thank you for sharing those, Joanne and Dad. Appreciate that very much. Next, we're going to go to Sue, and then we'll put Mary and Jeff on deck.
Okay. Well, I want to, everybody's had such variety in their vases. All I have is blue Caprice. So I'm going to with luck, turn the camera around. It says here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Now, as I said, this is the first time I've tried to use this baby iPad. I've got the Horn of Plenty or cornucopias, and all of course, blue Caprice. And we have different sizes of the vases. So, okay. I can't tell that this is showing very well. And I've got numbers for all of these, but you'll notice they made everything in different sizes. And we have plain tops and the ruffled tops. The ruffled ones seem to all be made from 1936 through the early 40s. All of the plain tops were made from 41 through about 45. And we have one little guy there still has his original Cambridge sticker. And the one in front of it has a frosted interior, because when we got it, I think it may have been Les talking about those that had been used. When we bought it, it had been used. So Bob got the fluoric acid out, and sure enough, he got all that use out of there, but it now has an etched interior. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, we have those little guys. And let's see, we've got a number 75 Eperm that has the little blue peg vases. Those are the only blue peg vases I've got in all of that Cambridge Arms stuff. And of course, there are the beloved rose bowls with their flower blocks. And we have the little 5-inch, let's see. Okay, where did he go? There he is. The 5-inch ivy or rose bowl, and that is thick. Then we have I think Gwinnell showed the little 4-inch ivy ball. And Gwinnell, you've got 2 of those baby blown vases that I don't have, but then we've got those 3 little ones. And so that's all that we have in our Caprice vases. So that's it for me tonight.
Well, thank you, Sue. And you have now given a whole new meaning to used vases and how we make them with a satin finish.
Oh, yes. It's very easy to do. I don't know who hollered the loudest, me or Bob.
That is the best comment I've heard in so long, I cannot tell you. That is wonderful. And for those of you that hydrofluoric acid is rather dangerous. So if you're going to try to do this, please do that over the kitchen sink and wash your sink immediately, because if you have a stainless steel sink, it will discolor it.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm very familiar as a chemist what these things do. So
yeah. Well, and the garage is a real good place to use it too. So,
yeah.
But everybody has such a wonderful variety in all these vases they've been showing. Our collection is very narrow, but it's really a treat to see all those other things too.
Oh yes. Well, a treat to see yours as well. And it was nice to see the Horns of Plenty. And with their optic, I always think they're beautiful. But again, those little pieces to me are just they're so thin and they're so fragile. And I've only seen a couple, in person, but I just think they're adorable. So thank you for sharing again, Sue. Appreciate that. Next, we have Mary and Jeff, and then we're going to move over to Lyle, please.
Okay. Well, we'll start with this little golden crusted wildflower bud vase. I just think it's so cute, and it looks really nice with fall colors, with black or with amber. But it's just a cute little piece. And then another one of our favorites is the keyhole. This is amethyst. And I can't remember, we measured the size before and I can't remember what it is, but it was different than what was on the Miami Valley Study Group site. So I think it was a little bit bigger, but it's just a neat piece. And then it's like a mate to Christine's. We always wanted a piece with the black, with enamel trim, Crown Tuscan with enamel. We love Crown Tuscan. So we got this at the convention at the show a couple of years ago. The black 3400. And then this past year, we got this golden crusted candlelight, and candlelight is one of our favorite etches. Yeah, this 3400 base. And also, same show, we got the milk glass Everglades. And I just love this vase. We've had it out on the buffet with our red, white, and blue display and haven't put that away yet. So it's time for fall colors, but some pieces you just don't want to put away. And then the last one we brought out was the frog handle vase. It's green. It doesn't have the detail on it. And that's all we pulled out for tonight.
Well, thank you. And yes, I'm glad to see the frog vase has made an appearance. So thank you for sharing with that. And my family is a candlelight group too. So we have quite a bit of candlelight. So thank you for showing that. I think it looks stupendous on crown, especially with the golden crusting. So thank you for that. Next, we're going to go to Lyle. And then we are going to put Tim on deck.
Mm-hmm. I have some delightful little pieces. This one, of course, everyone recognizes. Plain, small, but it also came big and fancy. And this is for Tim, by the way. This reminds me of a girl. Anybody watch Masterpiece on public TV? Well, this thing, she's laying right up there. We're crazy. This one is a utilitarian. We love them. We have square serving pieces, some plates and that such. They use them. We use them. And it's clean. You notice that? We use it, but it's clean. You can clean those. So just so you know. And this one is kind of an exercise in useless effort. It's black, it's etched, and nobody knows. It just disappears. In fact, it's so bad I don't even know what the etch is, but it's beside the point. I like it anyway. And then we have some Charlton decorations, and that's where most of these fit into the collection. So we have something besides girls, Tim.
Well, thank you for showing those. And I think it's really important that you brought out a really great point there, is that, when we really look at Cambridge, it's not only just the tops that are fluted or they have some decoration at the top, but it's also the bases really bring a lot of character to the glass as well. Like the square pieces, they always look so, more modern in comparison to maybe some of the other pieces with those really square, and it's really heavy looking too.
It's very clean line. It's very uh, utilitarian, but I think it's got its own little elegance going for it, you know. And there's enough weight in there, you can hold up a pretty good sized bloom.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing those, Lyle. And I have to agree with you. Sometimes I'm not sure why they put these etches on black, and they look great, but they do get lost sometimes.
Oh.
So it's a pity. Of course, you know, it would be great if it was gold encrusted or silver or something, but for some reason they just never did it. So next we have let me see, Tim, and then we're going to put Jack on deck. And we have a guest speaker tonight, obviously. Vases thinks he needs to be part of the crowd today.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you muted?
Yes, I'm unmuted. We have a fascination for Everglade, obviously, and this is a violet Everglade vase. And they come in a lot of different colors. And I believe I've got everything except the Crown Tuscan one. This one is in milk. This one is satin in royal blue with a label. It's so nice. And then I want to show you an ebony, which after I bought this on eBay, we found out that if you hold the two of them next together, the ebony neck at the top is a lot wider than what the blue is. This one is made in France. And if you look really, really close with a magnifying glass, it's a hint there. You can see made in, and you assume the rest of it is France. Then this one was gifted to me, and obviously they didn't make it in this color, but it is marked made in France also. So it's an example of color, and it's an example of who made it first. Did it come from France?
Jim, we actually believe that Cambridge acquired that mold from France, that's where it originated. And actually the same thing with the 10-inch swan. The original mold came from France, and Cambridge acquired it.
Now this next piece is a beautiful, let me get back here, you can see how big this is. This, as I looked it up in the book one time, David and Ray and we had quite a conversation about this piece. It looks like early Victorian period, and it's a number 18, 12-inch footed vase in royal blue. He says, nope, that is Martha Washington. And if you look at the sizes in the book of Martha Washington, this one's in between those two sizes. So regardless, it's neat. Wonderful piece that Charlie Upton had it, and one of the first pieces I was able to buy when I was there. Everglade vase, and this is the rounded top with the edge, with the etches are crimped in it there at the top. This was shown a while ago in the willow blue. I don't know whether his is smaller than this one or not. This one is the normal. I mean, all the ones I have, here's a violet, same size. And I was curious whether that was one that was shown earlier was smaller than that.
They're the same size, Tim.
Okay. Yeah. Then this is a emerald green with the different size shape in the opening. And it also came in other colors, and it happened to have the same thing in milk glass. And then for fun, these are our favorite. If you look at this one, this is light emerald, and it's the tulip vase. Am I getting back? There we go. And it is frosted with the highlights. And if you put the black light on it, can you see on the black light with it shining that way, or does it not show up with the film?
Doesn't quite show up, but I mean, you can kind of get a hint that it will glow.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. Then as for comparison, this is the one that was shown a minute ago, was the milk glass tulip vase. And if you put the two of them together, you'll notice that the tops are different sizes. And so they are different. There's different ones out there and the colors, but the tops are different lengths in this side up through here. And the last one I picked out, amber, Rosalie in a fan vase, and it's also optic. Gorgeous little piece. That's it.
Well, thank you. And as always, it's always a delight to see your Everglade collection. And I'm glad that you showed the ones that say from France and the ones that also are the Cambridge ones, because I think that brings up a great point, what Les said. And, you know, a lot of times those molds didn't originate with Cambridge. They originated in other parts of the world. And I think that goes to Bennett's travels, that, you know, he did go to Europe quite a bit. But it's nice to see that you also have the different colors to just kind of bring out the pattern as well. So thank you for sharing those with us.
Well, hey, one more thing.
Yes.
Both France vases together. This green one has a narrow top at the top. This one's got the real wide one, and they're both made in France. So this mold is different than this mold.
Yeah. Well, I don't know when they, it's hard to tell when they blew, you know, when it's blown sometimes, you know, with the tool or whatever, it might've been made a little bit whiter. I'm not really sure if, you know, once it came out of the mold, or not positive. Any comment about that?
Well, it'd be the finishing tool.
The finishing tool, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. So next we have Jack.
Anybody on deck or?
I'm on deck.
Okay, all right.
Photographs are on deck.
All right. Well, thank you, Julie. Good evening, everybody. This was, I have heard everybody say that it was like hard to choose what they wanted to show, and we have a lot of vases in our collection across many different collections. So we just picked a few. The first one I want to show is the Everglade vase, the number 21. You've seen it, I think, in a couple of different colors, and Tim showed one. This is the 4-screen one. So, we have seen some Robina vases tonight. The block optic top one, the one at the bottom that Christine showed. This one is, I'm not sure if they call this the stretch vase or whatever, but this came in 3 sizes, the 8, 10, and 12. It's shown in the 21 catalog originally, but of course, Robina was made in 25, 26. So, and I just think these are really cool vases, very, very difficult to find. And the blue is all in the bottom, and so they refired the top, although the way this color is in this, my guess is this is one of the ones that was put on a turntable and gone around, because if they would have put this back in the glory hole, only the top would have been refired red. So this was probably one of those to get this effect. So, and Les, you mentioned the one you shown in ivory with the block optic is one of the more common Robina vases, but they did make that vase in most of the 20s transparent colors too, in the mulberry, light emerald. I don't know what else I've seen it in, amber. So, here we're going to show a little match to Christine's vase that she had before. This is the 1006 vase, footed vase or aquaria. They called it both things. It is peach blow. It is satin on the inside, and it is gold encrusted Imperial Hunt, if I get that right, Les. And so I think it matches Christine's vase, just with the decoration and everything, just a little different size, but it's beautiful. The effect on that is just wonderful, and so we really like that. So, and it wouldn't be a show and tell without a few of Elaine pieces. And we've seen some nice Elaine tonight. This one is really one of our favorite vases. It's the 13037 7-inch vase. We bought this very early on in our collecting, and we found it at the old Riverside Antique Mall over in Pittsburgh, and it was sick as can be. I mean, just the whole inside looked like it was used as a salt shaker or something. And so luckily we know somebody that takes care of sick glass, and they made it look like brand new again. And it's always been a very favorite of ours. But if you notice that this top part is sold as a vase itself, the same blank, but then they also put this type of foot on it and sold it a little differently. So, and then the very last couple of things I have, well, the first I wanted to show was the small 8-inch footed vase, gold encrusted Elaine. Of course, this came in two sizes, the 8-inch and the 10-inch, and we've seen a couple of different colors on this one tonight. The reason I wanted to bring this out and show this is because the very last thing is what's called the 3500, again, the Gadroon line. This is the 122 7-inch square vase. Extremely rare. There's only been a couple of these seen, only one in Elaine, and I think there's been a Crown Tuscan one that has been seen too as well that I know of. But what they did is, if you notice, they plucked the top off of the 8-inch vase and then pinched it, and you can see it's square. And there's a single catalog image of this in 35, and that's it. I don't know if maybe they thought, well, if they had some trouble with this one coming out of the mold, well, we'll just cut it off and pinch it and sell it. Who knows what they were doing. But it's one of our favorite pieces in the whole collection. But it's just kind of a strange gizmo. And just as a parting comment, there was a little notation below this piece that said it also came in an 8-inch size. Nobody's ever seen that. That makes absolutely no sense. So who knows what that meant. So that's it. Thank you, Julie.
Well, thank you, Jack. That's fabulous. And I agree that Aquaria is absolutely stunning. But yeah, it very interesting on that vase that it looks very much like the urn, and they just lopped it off and pinched it a little bit, and now we have another piece of glass. So very interesting. And thank you again for sharing, and also the additional commentary that you add every single time. So much appreciated.
Hey, Julie, this is Mike. I brought some pieces too.
I saw you in the chat box, Mike. So you're up, and then we will do some photographs at the end. So go take it away, Mike.
Okay, thank you. Les made a comment about how many vases are in his collection. And I started looking around and thought, oh my, we need to narrow this down. So we have vases in many collections, but what we've narrowed it down to was just our gold encrusted Portia is what I brought to show, and then I'll have a picture. But I'll run through them real quick here. First, we'll start with vases with no bases. And I think we've seen this one before. I couldn't tell you the number or the sizes. It actually does better against me, huh? So we got that one. 3400 with the darts. And this one's kind of cool. This is the I think they call it a flip vase, and I wouldn't recognize this anywhere if it wasn't etched somehow. So this is a flip vase. And Vanna's going to hand me some stuff here. The 1242. And gold Portia. Can't quite get the sweet spot on the things.
Big basket.
Okay. This what is this one?
Yeah.
Here's a bud vase. We've seen a lot of bud vases tonight. This is gold Portia. Yeah, how about these?
Okay. Well, that's
This
good.
is, I think these came in other sizes, but this is the only one we ever found in gold Porsche with the ball on the base. Do these little ones here.
Okay.
And then here's the little, what I call the little clubfoot vase. In gold Porsche. And bigger one, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, careful.
Yeah.
Tell its story.
No, just, and here's the big clubfoot vase. Gold encrusted Porsche. This little job here.
Okay.
Or we did that.
Yeah. Keyholes now.
Yeah, we'll do the keyholes. There's the two at once. This is the two different sizes of the keyhole stem.
With the top.
There we go. With the gold Porsche. Here's another ring stem. I know this this style came in multiple sizes in other stems, but we've only found this one in Porsche, so, or gold Porsche. Like I say, we're limiting here tonight.
Okay.
Okay,
Puts everything up here.
that giant thing. Well, we didn't do this yet.
Oh, okay.
Did we do? I don't know. Lisa and I can't decide if we did this one or not.
Nope, that's new.
Okay.
And then this giant guy, you didn't do.
And then we have a companion piece for it. I can't even get it in the picture.
There you go.
And I'm guessing this is like 14 inches or something or the other. And this is probably 10. So those are the gold encrusted pieces. Lisa wanted to show 3 vases that she brought.
Okay, I have also some Carmen gold encrusted Porsche vases. Which I just think it looks so beautiful. So beautiful. That one, and then this
Back her up a little bit.
this is the
12-inch.
12-inch. Yeah. Just the basket just pops on that. Should I go ahead and
You can do your Sinclair piece.
so Les mentioned in the beginning about Sinclair glass, and unless he tells me differently, I think that's what this is. But when we bought this, it was like, oh, that's Cambridge. Oh, maybe it's not Cambridge. So
It's Sinclair's poppy decoration.
Yes.
Sinclair's poppy, but
It's beautiful.
it is beautiful. I love this vase, but
And Sinclair is very valuable and very collectible,
yeah, but not Cambridge.
but not Cambridge.
But not Cambridge. So even seasoned collectors, of course, we made this mistake a long time ago. However, it's still very pretty. Okay, speaking of mistakes. So
not those. Let's, Julie, can we do the picture? We have lots of royal blue vases.
Well, you gotta wait.
Okay.
3 minutes ahead, and then we'll show yours. So,
Okay, well, let me show you a couple of pictures that
little pictures. Vases.
yeah, I also do when we get if we're in royal blue, I love big round things. and I don't know who made this one. I have some Cambridge ones, but they're much smaller than this. So whenever I see these giant blue things, I buy them and put them on the floor by Lisa's piano. And then to give you some perspective of size,
Oh my.
you know, there's a difference in the two. You know, this is the Cambridge vase. This is the ball, the giant ball that I bought. And then Lisa, bring the other one in. And then we got one more. Bring it up close.
Wow.
So this is the biggest blue ball I have ever seen. So I wanted to share those with you.
Boy, those are very large. Very large.
They are.
Yeah, there's a place by Lisa's piano for very large blue things.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was going to do those after our picture, but that's okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And yes, the gold encrusted Portia on Carmen is just stunning. Just stunning. So thank you for sharing those with us so much. And yes, your blue vases are coming up, but has Freeman joined us yet? I don't hear anything. So I'm going to share my screen.
Can I correct something real quick?
Oh, yep, you sure can.
I meant to say the round ball in the cornucopia, not the foot. They're all got round foot. But this is the one, the cornucopias I was telling you I had in 3 sizes.
Okay.
But they're just a variation of them, just short tops. So that's what this is. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
All
And
right.
can I add something also? Because I realize I'm seeing all these, I haven't seen this. This is I think it's Chantilly with
Yes.
a base. I have 2 of these. I didn't think of it as a vase. I mean, now that everybody's showing it, this is what I have. It's a Chantilly with a sterling silver base.
Yes. Beautiful. I have a pair of those myself.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Barbara. Okay. So now I am going to share my screen. And let's go back up to the top here. And presentation mode. There we go. Okay, there we go. Let me move everybody out of the way. So these are some near cut 2636 of the Sunburst line. So I was hoping Freeman was going to be able to attend. I know he teaches class on Tuesdays and can't make it. But I think, again, if we look at these very closely, we see a little bit different height, but more so the flaring at the top. I mean, the first 2 look like they came from the same mold, basically, but the middle one to me looks stretched and basically opened at the top, probably with the glassmaker's tool. And then the bottom and the one to the furthest right obviously has a different foot. And again, a very nice white opening, but it's not as fluted. So very interesting of him to share these with us. And I don't think that we have seen any other near cut tonight. So it's kind of nice to see some near cut bases. The next one is his collection of Mount Vernon. And I know several people showed a couple of heather blooms, which it looks like he has here on the far right. I'm sorry, I'm trying to move people around so you can see it. And in the wide variety of colors here, from milk to, I see the amber, the emerald, the amethyst, the cobalt, and it looks like he's probably got a decanter in the back that's in the carmine. Very beautiful. Okay. Oh, we got to go back. Okay, Mike, here you go. Here's your shot, but oh, you do have a sweet pea vase. I was trying to sneak mine in there, but why don't you go ahead and talk about the vases here in your case? Mike? Did I lose him?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. The picture there with the case, we call it the vase case. And in the regular collections, we just ran out of space for vases. So we bought this one case and have just put vases in it. Ring stems, club foot, anything that you can come up with. There's in the second shelf in the middle, there's a sandblasting design. I don't want to go through all of them because there's just a ton of them there. What's missing is we also have a set of in the kitchen, we have royal blue Caprice vases. We have a set 10 different sizes of the royal blue Caprice vases. I believe it's a complete set of those. Also missing are the palace vases. I guess that's the 1336. Those are in a window in our den. And alongside those are some large 779 royal blue vases. So I just wanted to share that with you. You can see some of them are dupes. I don't have any problem putting duplicates in my case, in my royal blue vase case. So
Mike, do you have the Narcissus bulb vase in royal blue?
I
don't see it there.
That's
such a cool shape.
This is the sweet potato.
Yeah.
See the Narcissus face.
Yeah.
Which one? I'm trying to remember which one that is, Les.
It's got the 4 globes kind of on the top.
I think it's this thing. It might be this.
Okay.
It's in there somewhere.
Okay.
Here this one in the back here. Third row down over to the left. The one Jack was showing in a lane that he said he loved and cleaned. Well, there's one in royal blue with the crystal foot there. And in the very, very early days of eBay, I paid an arm and a leg for that thing on eBay, drove to Atlanta and met somebody at a mall to pick it up. And I was living in South Carolina at the time. And I thought, well, I certainly went overboard on that for that piece.
Never seen it again.
But I've never seen it again. So that vase shape with a crystal foot on it in any color is a really cool piece.
Oh yeah. I totally agree with that. It's one of my favorite shapes.
So anyway, that's my vase case. I thought I would share that, and I'm done, Julie.
All right, thank you. Well, I didn't see it. Now I see it. I thought, well, I didn't see the little the sweet potato vase, but I now do see it on the second shelf to the right. So I just added mine. I have these in all the colors of the sweet potato vase. Also, it comes in amber, carmine, emerald. I'm not sure if I'm missing any color, but yes, I enjoy those a lot. I'm a gardener, so I have a lot of the gardening, the bulb vases, as you were just discussing. So here are 2 of my favorite vases, and a lot of you that know my collection is I adore silver overlay. And yes, it does get cleaned periodically. But these were, the one to the left is very dear to me. It came from the Klemkos. And so I always remember Steve Klemko telling me that he spent all day polishing it for me. But I do love the pillow-shaped vase as well. And I just think with the silver overlay, this is the Circle of Swans. It's a DePass and silver. I just really enjoy this particular silver overlay pattern. And then again, you see it in the 1242. I was trying to find my other 1242 vase because this particular silver overlay came in a couple of different styles, whereas you guys like to call them the darts. I have some where the darts are solid silver, and just the darts are the solid silver, and then the rest with the DePass silver in the Circle of Swans. Again, someone showed a top hat. This is my mini top hat, but it looks really big here. It's about the 5-inch. And then really the vases that got me started and hooked on Cambridge, I went to a little auction when I was probably 19 years old. I went to go get my parents a gift, and it happened to be this 10-inch vase that is Chantilly is one of the things that actually comes on silver. And it's really, I think they did it because of the popularity of the Chantilly sterling silver that was out there and had been out there for so long. And here are the 3 different sizes of vases. It comes in an 8, 10, and 12 inch, but all with the silver foot, obviously. So as you can tell, I spend a lot of time with silver polish. The next ones I know Gary had talked about, well, I could go get my vases that are ebony with gold encrusted. I am not a rose point collector. However, I am a Chantilly collector. And as you can see, I have the, with my photograph now that I see it, is with the ball vase, then also the little bud vase, and then the taller of the vases, I believe that's an 11 inch. And I also like my chintz and my charlatan. I collect everything in Cambridge that starts with a C, I think. Chintz, Chantilly, Candlelight, and Charlatan. And here are the chintz base. I just love this shape. I know it comes, this is the smaller size. I believe this is the 11 inch, and it comes in a 13 inch as well. And then again, the ivy balls. I just think these exude elegance to me. And this was probably one of my first purchases in Charlatan, were actually these ivy balls. And lastly, I've shown this piece before. This is the Japonica. It's a very tall vase, and it has the oval opening. So those are kind of my favorites in my collection. I have lots of vases as well. Chantilly came on a lot of different blanks, and I didn't pull them out. And I wish I would have pulled maybe 1 or 2 out of the pristine that they have. Kind of what I asked you, Greg, is that, was it a shammed bottom? Because I have the flip vases. One has a very deep sham. One is basically very flat with no sham. But Chantilly came on so many different blanks that I find that I've got a lot of different pieces, and probably close to 45 vases just in Chantilly.
Whoa.
So I will stop sharing. Share. There we go. And so that's all I have from the photographs for this evening. Does anybody have any questions that they wanted to ask anyone about the pieces that were shown or less? Any questions from this evening?
I have one, Julie. The top hats are considered vases then?
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe they are listed under the vase category.
Oh, because I was looking in the book and all I ever see them was top hat. That's all I ever see them is they just say top hat. I have one in Elaine, a 5-inch one, I believe it is. I just showed that tonight, but I didn't know it was called a vase. So
yeah, I think
Yeah,
I noticed.
Jeff, in a lot of the pricing and the things, Cambridge actually referred to them as a hat base.
okay.
Hat is what they call them. So you can call them either one.
Cool. I like it anyway.
Gary's showing his picture of the hat vases from the book. Okay, any other questions for this evening?
I'm looking for the big hat base if ever anybody ever finds it in Rose Point. I had a chance a long time ago, 25, 30 years ago, to buy one. I didn't because I thought the price was too high. I wish they could have bought it.
Yeah, I think we all have those regretful moments. I am after one elusive picture in the Chantilly line that I've seen once, missed it, and I've never seen it again. It drives me crazy. So I'm sure we all have those moments. Anything else this evening before we kind of close up the show? All right, I'm going to turn it over to Jack, and Jack's going to give us an upcoming preview of what's coming up in our December and maybe our January. So Jack, if you want to add a few comments here.
Yes, thank you, Julie. Just first of all, thank you everybody for all the wonderful stuff that we've seen tonight. This is one of more fabulous zoom and tells I think we've had in a long time. And if we look at the time, look how long we've gone. It's just it's been incredible. So I really thank everybody for their participation and just being here. So this has been a great night. One comment I just wanted to make before we talk about next month. Gary Turner made a comment about and talk about getting into the, Les likes to call it getting into the weeds with things, but when you collect something along, you notice little nuances and things. And Gary Turner talked about different etching plates used on the same blank. And being an Elaine collector, we've seen that on Elaine pieces too as well, where we'll have two different bowls. Actually, it's the 993 12-inch bowl. And on one bowl, the Elaine etch is really big. And on the other bowl, it's really small. Like they used this a completely different plate to do that. Why they did that, we don't know. But it was just something you see, and I'm sure many of you maybe have seen that also on some of the etches that you collect too. So anyway, I just wanted to make that comment. So next month, in December, the topic is things with lids. And talk about an extensive topic. It's going to be, you can find all kinds of things with lids. I went and it's a program that I'm going to do, and I did some initial research on this thing. I came up with at least 47 different items that Cambridge made with lids. So if you compound that by different colors, different decorations, and all kinds of things, there are a lot of items that I'm sure you can find in your collection to participate next month as well. One of the things that we decided to do, and one of the topics or one of the categories on things with lids are candy jars and candy boxes, etc. We're going to remove that from next month's category. That's going to be a whole different topic next year. So that'll look forward to that, candy jars, etc. Because Cambridge did so many of those. We decided so we're going to pull that out. So next month, things with lids, everything but candy jars. And we hope to see you all again next month. Thank you, Julie.
All right. Well, thank you, Jack. And in closing again, this would not be what it is without all of you participating and showing the beautiful pieces that you have at home. I always leave this Zoom meeting in envy of, oh, I really think I need one of those, or I really think I need one of those. And certainly it really provides me an opportunity to say, what am I really missing in my collection that I really think I need to have? And then it also reminds me of how gorgeous Cambridge glass is. You know, all the different vibrant colors, all the different treatments, all the different etchings, non-etchings, gold bands, everything. And I think we're all very blessed to have such time to see the wonderful pieces that everyone has. So again, thank you to everyone. I wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving next week. And I hope you'll use some of your Cambridge or decorate with it. And the Horns of Plenty, which Sue showed, it's that time of year. So thank you, everyone. And again, I appreciate your time this evening. This is one of our longer sessions, but I think it's been one of our best sessions.